From Lalate News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings Lalate.
It's a big early mornings broadcast, and I'm back with exciting great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we go over your monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats may be giving you more months of checks. Then the second part of this video, we go over the recon and why that recon has other sums of money in there. I've been reporting that for a while, and now we have the confirmation. And I'll be revealing some of those sums of money in this recording. Wow. Then we cut to the vote. The bipartisan vote, the recon vote, the bipartisan bill, the recon bill. Things are just days away from the finish line. It's getting very quick, very fast, and very exciting in this early morning's broadcast. Then we cut to stimulus as it raises your benefits up lifetime, and Jay Powell spoke about the big inflationary number at issue, and I have the latest details on that. And finally, we get to the big exciting details as tens of thousands of dollars are being paid to viewers of this channel for rent, utilities, and food. I'm going to go over how you can get that big money. It's a big early mornings broadcast. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and let's get to the incredible great details of the incredible great money starting right now, right here on Early Mornings Lalate. Congratulations, you made it to the weekend. How you feeling? How you doing? How's the weather where you are? Oh, it's cooling down a little bit, but not a lot here. Needs to cool down some more here. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. Jump on the live chat right now. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, so much breaking news, literally a ton of breaking news today, this morning. We'll be going over that monthly stimulus check and why the Democrats may likely give you more months of checks. Then we go to the recon and we'll go over why the recon now has other sums of money in there. Lots of money, a fortune, trillions of dollars of other money for you in as well. Then we go over the voting and we'll go over not only what's in the recon, but also when the voting for the recon will be. We'll be going over the bill reveal for the recon, and we'll go over the bill reveal for the bipartisan. And when that's going to a vote, so many things happening so quickly. Then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits based upon a new inflationary benchmark as well. And Jay Powell testified about that yesterday. I have the latest breaking news. And finally, the big money across the board, tens of thousands of dollars that viewers continue to get, like Nisi with $23,000, John with $12,000. I'm going to show you how you can get this big money as well. And this is LA, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, live in the morning, taped in the afternoon. I'm next back with you live with Mornings LA. So subscribe, 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next up, 1 million. Also like this video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat under the video where it says join here. Let's get right into that monthly stimulus check and understand why the surprising details started yesterday when during the question of Jay Powell, a Senate Republican or House Republican said, well, you know, that pandemic's not over yet. Thank you. Jalapal thanks you. Jalapal thanks you as well. House bill from Jalapal, pandemic plus 1 year. Senate proposal, July to December. Senate payouts and House payouts, here we go. House, $1,000 a month after the first month. Senate amount monthly unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Deliciousness. Oh boy, deliciousness. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000, or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. As you saw in that teaser up or at the start of the video, there's now a certain change of force. 2 weeks ago that we thought, hey, maybe there's no more pandemic for legislative purposes. Now every legislator is saying, hey, the pandemic certainly ain't over. Well, if that's the case, then suddenly the House bill looks a lot different because the House bill pays pandemic plus 1 year. And if that was what is paid out, that would be a lot more than $13,000 over 12 months. Compare that to this. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. House or Senate, tell me where you're tuning in from. And how's the weather? Whoa, things change very quickly on this channel. Vote House or Senate. Boy, that's how you have to stay with this channel. Who would get a fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent that if you got a third stimulus check, they want to give you a fourth stimulus check. Single individual, 75,000 or less, Democrats represent. They want to give you a forced stimulus check. Married couple, 150,000 or less, Democrats represent. They want to give you a forced stimulus check. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, Democrats want to give you a forced stimulus check. And if you are family of four, Democrats represent. They want to give you a forced stimulus check. It's not income. It's not taxable. It would be the same amount for all individuals, including adult dependents. And the forced stimulus check is not a waivable check. So if you do see the check at the bouncy bounce at the amusement park this weekend, and he's sort of bouncing all over the place, and you say, "Hey, Chuck, I see you're bouncing. Just don't bounce when you come to me." Chuck humor. Chuck didn't laugh at it. No one likes a bounce check. Even you're not a very funny bounce check either. Yeah. No one likes a bounce check. The Democrats represent they'll give you a forced stimulus check in the month of July, and it would not be a bounce check. I hope not. In the month of August, for the month of August. Let's hope that one doesn't bounce either. But there you go. The forced stimulus check, third update will explain to us why they didn't get the vote by July 4th, but why they're getting the vote now within days. Oh boy, things moved very quickly overnight. Yeah, they did. In the second part of this video, we'll go over that recon and why there's big sums of money in there in that forced stimulus recon. I'll go over what those sums of money are. It's all deliciousness for you. But here's a preview of the second half of this video. It's fifth stimulus, and it heats up this fall with the raising up of your benefits if you're on benefits anywhere from SSA to VA. Well, Jay Powell testified yesterday about the inflation rate, and now we got a bigger sense of how big that rate is going, and how high your benefits will go as well. That's coming up later. But get a pen and paper ready, because it's time to get some money. We're at the weekend, but it's still time to get money. That's what this channel does, and I am so proud of you. Jump in the live chat right now and post the money you've gotten for this channel. If you got rent, post it right now. If you got utilities, post it. If you got SNAP, post it. I was saying to the viewers of this channel, I can get you for rent maybe $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent. You watch these videos and you've been getting $10,000, $12,000, $20,000 for rent like Nisi. I've been posting these videos. I say, hey, I'll maybe get you $300 for utilities. I got DMs overnight that said I got $3,000 for utilities. And then when we talk about SNAP, I said viewers are getting $5,000 to $6,000 from these videos. Now John got $12,000 for SNAP. Well, get that pen and paper ready. Here we go. I'm going to show you the different pots of money, because this is what I do. When this channel launched, people were not getting their EIDL loans approved in April of last year. I didn't launch the channel to track the EIDL loan check, because it wasn't coming. I launched it to get people money. And I got viewers $25 million of it last year. And then in fall of 2020, people were saying, when am I getting my second stimulus check in my hand? It wasn't becoming law in December. So I said, hey, I'm going to get you money. And I did. I got viewers $250,000 of rent. And I've been doing it ever since across the board. We're going to go over this big pot of money. It's rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and also homeowners utilities. It's under third stimulus, and it's available for you to get right now. Get that pen and paper ready. Here we go. Each place you're going to reach out to has different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next year. Ready? City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID. Rent assistance because of COVID. Or mortgage utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus or range of color options. There is no range of color options here. It's just purple. Or this one. And there you go. The incredible money has been gotten by Tim and Linda. So congratulations for you to get the rent. If you got rent from this channel, post it in the live chat right now. Next is SNAP. John got $12,000 for SNAP. Wow. Lynn Glenn got it herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got as well. Post your SNAP success story if you got as well. What is SNAP? It's money for food. How do you get it? Department of Agriculture. How much does it pay? A fortune. A family of four can get upwards of $16,000 a year now in Hawaii. Why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. You're killing it. We're killing it. You're doing an incredible job. Keep on posting your success stories. $15,000 for SNAP and family of four in Hawaii, or $16,000. $5,000 or more than that for rent. And we are only 10 minutes into this video. Wow. The next part of the money is the money coming back from your states. States have been ordered to return money back to you due to computer error of overpayment of benefits. Let's go over the details. Where? Direct deposit. When? Can you reach out to your state? Reach out to your state and say, hey, state, where's my check due to overpayment of unemployment benefits and computer error? And can you track it with a computer that finally works? And one viewer got $3,000 for this. Another viewer got $5,000 for this. Very exciting news. And then finally, that refund check from IRS, and we have some update about that as well. That refund check due to payment of unemployment benefits to IRS, it's coming back. Some of you have gotten already, like Margaret, Cod, Michael. Others have not. Well, IRS gave us an update. Another round has been sent out for direct deposit starting July 4th. And another round has been sent out for paper check beginning July 16th. The average amount is about $1,265, and those rounds will continue throughout the next few weeks. Wow. So how much, where, when? Let's say you had $9,000 of unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000 of total taxes, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you get back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah, go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. It'll reveal the tax. It'll reveal 70% of the time details that you never knew. Some details you don't want to know. Some details you don't want other people to know either. It'll reveal the taxes you file, the taxes you paid. It'll reveal, why is that check so wavy when it's at Mitch's Lobster Fest? Is it because the lobster is spiked? Is it, vodka lobster? It'll reveal, is teal really a color, or is muddled blue basically the same thing? And then finally reveal the refund check you're back from IRS. Wow, can we top that? We can. As we go into the second part of your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 starting right now. So here we go. The recon is now passable. Over 2 weeks ago, it was not. The recon at that time had roads and bridges in the recon, and it was too big. Democrats were asked, hey, would you vote in favor of this recon? Of course not. It's too big. Take the roads and bridges out. And that's what they had to do. 2 Wednesdays ago, or maybe it's now 3 Wednesdays ago, they took the roads and bridges out, and it shrunk the recon. And the recon was shrunk, and then it became passable. For the first time on Early Mornings LA, I want to go over the names of what's going on, because this is very important. The roads and bridges were put into something called the bipartisan. And your money stayed in the recon. And while viewers of this channel know those words, the problem is happening is that print media, even the White House, is using other words at the moment. So recon, bipartisan, what are the other words? Because it's important for you to know which is your money. Your money is the recon. You do not worry about the bipartisan, except when are they getting it done. You don't care because there's no money in the bipartisan for us. That's roads and bridges. Your money is in the recon. So what are these words that you need to know? The recon is also called reconciliation, or for stimulus, or the budget bill. You can also recognize it by the price tag, $3.5 trillion. And you can also recognize it by people who are talking about it, like Chuck, Nancy, Bernie, all the time. Bernie's talking about it. And Jalapal. The bipartisan is also called the infrastructure. I'll say that again. The bipartisan is also called the infrastructure. It's not your stuff. That's roads and bridges. That's not your stuff, infrastructure. It sometimes is called the American Jobs Plan. It's sometimes called the Republican and Democratic thing. And then the price tag, you can recognize it. It's at a 1.5 or 1.4 trillion approximately. And then the people quoted in the articles you can recognize. Lisa Murkowski, Republican. Mitt Romney, Republican. Kristen Sinema. So very, very different bills. You don't want to get confused, as some viewers are getting a little confused. They're sending me DMs saying, what is this one? I don't understand what that name is. Next, the president has called the two items together the Build Back America. Yeah, like we need another name. So Build Back America refers to both of them together. All right, how do we get to this wonderful spot? Well, we got to this wonderful spot by shrinking the recon. And now the recon is passable. Now, the GOP confirms that in a beautiful op-ed recently written that says, the higher the price tag was on the recon, the harder it was to pass. Amen. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the provisions of the recon and put into the bipartisan, roads and bridges, the overall price tag of the recon became smaller, obviously. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. Sorry, Mitch, sorry to set you up. Now, what's funny about this article is that the article continues to go on to say why the GOP should not support the bipartisan. But this article is now several days old, and the Republicans are loving the bipartisan. Oh my God, they're absolutely salivating over it. They love it. And Mitch is like it as well. So the article is now sort of, the attitude of it is off kilter because it's no longer the issue. When they shrunk that recon and took out roads and bridges from it, it allowed the progressives Oh, I'm about to sneeze. Allow the progressives, bless you. It'll bless your stimulus. Shrunk the roads as they took the roads and bridges out and shrunk the recon. It made the recon small. Now that the recon was small, the progressives could add stuff in. Over the last week, I told you progressives were adding stuff in. We now have confirmation they've added stuff back in. And we also have confirmation the recon is now passed in principle. That's coming up later in this video. They have not voted on the recon, but they have voted on the recon in principle, all Senate Democrats. This is huge. So that article before that said it's now passable. Well, it has actually been agreed upon informally by the House Senate Democrats. It's huge, coming up in a second. So Representative Ilhan Omar said that they were going to add other things into the recon. And we have a commitment that regardless of what's in the bipartisan, we're going to add other stuff in the recon and go as far as we want it. There you go. And then Representative Richie Torres said, I refuse to vote for the bipartisan unless it's linked to the larger recon. And the members of the progressives were meeting with the White House daily. Well, how did they get to the spot? They got to the spot by really protecting the recon. The progressives were told to protect the recon. And the president said that the progressive priorities in the recon were its own priorities. And Jalapa was told to protect the recon. So what's going on here? Let me explain what the recon is. Recon stands for reconciliation. And it's a bill written by Democrats for Democrats to pass by Democrats. GOP has nothing to do with the writing of it. They don't want the recon. They have nothing. They stay away from it. The recon is actually written in subcommittees of the House. They're the lead authors. The Senate subcommittees also oversee the discussion. The House subcommittees are delegated different subject matters based upon their establishment under the Constitution. So, for example, House Ways and Means oversee stimulus checks for in the House. They also oversee unemployment benefits. The way they do things is that they mark up, they write, they vote. But during that process, they don't have to show you what they're doing. Under the Constitution, there's no requirement of transparency. They don't have to show you what's in there. They have to show you what they're voting on. They can keep it all quiet, which they have. When we're doing a recon, ultimately those different subcommittees are eventually done with what they wrote. Let's say it's 10 pages. Let's say it's 10 committees, subcommittees. Then those 10 pages from 10 groups are combined and it's sent off to Nancy, and that's an H bill or an S bill for the Senate. And that's when you see it. So it's important to understand that is the process we have to go. Now, how do we get to the spot? We got to the spot so wonderfully by Jalapa, who had written the president letters, the senator's Schumer letter, saying, chuck call the vote. The letter was signed by 12 House Democrats from among the 100 plus, yeah, you heard me right, 100 plus, who said we want monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Wow, can we top that? We can, as 7 members of the House subcommittees wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Well, who are these people? They're on the House subcommittee. The House Ways and Means. Whoa, yes. They wrote your third stimulus recon. They're writing your fourth stimulus recon, and they're doing a fifth stimulus recon as well. Wow, now that's incredible news. Now, what's important to understand is that you need to keep them to their promise. That's their promise, and they can add things in there, and they can take things out. But can we top that? We can, as the president has now gotten fourth stimulus to the edge of the finish line through an international agreement about the corporate tax minimum. What's at issue? Well, you saw 3 weeks ago the president went overseas for ceremonial signature, but that was only ceremonial. It now became law. The global minimum corporate tax rate has been raised. It's easy breezy going forward for recon. Why? Number one, they don't have to put it in the recon, so it makes it easier to write the recon. They don't have to put it for a vote, so it's easier to call the vote. They don't have to vote on the global minimum corporate tax rate. It's in the international agreement. It's easier to pass the vote. And it's easier to pass for stimulus recon. Incredible news. Can we top that? We can. In the third part of this video, we go over no less than 30 press clipping articles from yesterday. It's just insane. I mean, just enormous. We have dates for the bipartisan. We have dates for the bill for the bipartisan. We have dates for the recon, and we have dates potentially for the recon drafting as well. Boy, things are moving fast. Final few days. And then we go into the excitement of fifth stimulus as Jay Powell spoke about the inflation rate. I have those details as well. But something more wonderful than that is the volunteers. If you need help with rent, utilities, internet, SNAP, or homeowners assistance, reach out to them. Where do you find them? Open the description of this video. Go down the description. You'll find an emoji of a house. Click that link. It sends you over to the community page, news.lalate.com/community. On that page are the volunteers. They're available to help you get that rent, utilities, and more. Here's a little bit about them, and I'll be back with you in 60 seconds for that final 15 minutes. It's going to be huge. Don't miss it on Fourth Stimulus coming up with fifth stimulus as well. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. The toast is toast and the butter is butter, and I'm here, you're here, as Early Mornings LA continues. It's a big morning with exciting details across the board as your fourth stimulus heats up with not just the fourth stimulus recon, but also the bipartisan getting their acts together. I'm really excited to give you this breaking news update coming up in a second. Also fifth stimulus, but first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next stop, 1 million. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Also, like this video. 3,000 likes. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the chat and the pinned comment. Let's get right to the details of that fifth stimulus. Also, join me on Mornings LA, live on air at 9 a.m. today. And stay on this video. It'll automatically take you to Overnight's Crypto underway right now. Fifth stimulus heats up this fall, and it's that raising up of your benefits of SSI all the way to VA. And we learned so much breaking news from Jay Powell yesterday. Let's go over the details. First, we'll raise your benefits up. Then remove the asset limit, add inflationary benchmark, remove the income exclusion, and remove the marriage penalty. Well, how does this work? First, it'll raise your benefits up one big time if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, VA, or multiple beneficiaries. Then it'll apply a new benchmark. That benchmark is inflation. It'll apply it this fall for next year. Well, what did Jay Powell say yesterday? He said over a 2-day congressional hearing that inflation's still going up, and it's going to hit that highest point in December. Same thing he said before. This is huge because that's when they apply your benchmarks in the fall. What was Wall Street's reaction? Their reaction was, I think the inflation rate is like what Lalate said. I've been saying the inflation rate is either 10 or 5. They said 5 yesterday. Wow. So that's huge for your benefits. First, your benefits will be raised up. Then they'll apply the benchmark. And if it's 5%, your benefits will raise up another 5%. Not just next year, a lifetime. Lifetime. And if inflation rate the year after that is 1%, then it's plus 5 plus 1%. Incredible, great news. Next, they're going to remove the asset cap dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't stay on benefits and also receive and have more than $3,000 in hand. Now you'll be able to have some stimulus checks in your hand. They're going to remove the income cap dating back to 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win. You'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You no longer fear the marriage penalty or fear loss of benefits. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer fear the marriage penalty. And there you go. That is fifth stimulus. Now, what's important for you to know is that the president has also dedicated $1 billion to Social Security Administration the last few days. This is to ramp up to ensure your benefits get out on time and also any stimulus checks. Third, if you're missing first, second, or third stimulus check, you must file a tax return and request it on the tax return. There's a line item. If you haven't done both, you must go to tax preparer. Finally, those House Ways and Means Subcommittee members say they're putting a monthly stimulus check in that fifth stimulus package. That would be for next year. It would start to see legislative form in the fall. And finally, if you're not a member and you're looking in the live chat, you're like, oh my goodness, all these people have Purple Hawks. I don't have a Purple Hawk. And they're talking about those, posting all these monies they've been getting, rent, utilities. What is going on here? Consider becoming a member. The link's under the video at Join. And by becoming a member, I deliver daily to you a breakdown of all the big money under third stimulus, all the big money under fourth and fifth stimulus. Here's what you need to know. When third stimulus is passed, some people said, it's a $1,400 stimulus check. I said, no, but there's also $14,000 in there for most of my viewers. And many of my viewers have got a lot more than $14,000. Third stimulus had fortunes of money in there, and that fortunes is still there. By becoming a member, you learn about all that money so you can go grab it. It's the same as second stimulus. And when we look at fourth stimulus, recon coming up in a second, you're going to see fortunes of money in there. Billions, trillions of money in there for the American people. And you're going to see that money is in there. And it's for you to get, and I go over all the money for you to get. So consider becoming a member so you get those details delivered to you daily and you get that money. All right, there we go. We go into the final third part of your fourth stimulus check update with just a few breaking news stories. Lord, there's a lot. First, what happened to that July 4th vote? At the time that Nancy and Chuck said 1,000 times the final vote would be by July 4th, the recon had roads and bridges in it. That's when the recon was big. And then it was not passable. Now that they've taken the roads and bridges out, it's now passable. Well, over the last 2 weeks, up to about a day ago, I went on sort of this narrative of what they need to do. It's no longer important to go over what they need to do because they've done it. Let's go over first the recon part of the situation. The recon is your money. And the big news came Tuesday night. It came when the Senate Democrats came out and said, we have a deal. We have agreed to pass the recon. Now, one thing I had not made clear in the last 24 hours was this is an agreement that basically said, hey, we're passing the recon. Now, they have not voted to approve the recon, but they basically said, yes, as Senate Democrats, which are the only group that you're worried about, not the House Democrats, going to pass with them easily. They're saying, yeah, we've got it done. We're going to approve it. And they also gave a price tag, approximately $3.5 trillion. This is huge for two reasons. One, because the way they build out these recons is they start with a price and then they just slide in the amounts for different things in there after they have the big number. So they have the price. Number two, the price is huge. It's just enormous. 3.5 just covers a lot of money for a lot of stuff. So this is just absolutely wonderful news. So what is in the recon? So what's important to understand is what's going on with the Senate Democrats. There's a series of news articles in middle-of-the-road publications that basically say the Senate Democrats and the House Democrats do not want us to see what's in there until it's finally to a vote. So they've deliberately not revealed it. So it's important for you to understand in your mind, do not say, I haven't heard about. Well, yeah, because no one's heard about. No news organization, including this one, has been officially told by anyone what is confirmed in there because they're not making that confirmation public until the final last minute. So it's still a work in progress. Now, how do I have details of what is potentially in there? There was a conservative publication that ran sort of a hit piece that basically said, hell, that recon is horrible. There's all these things that shouldn't be paid out. And here's example stuff that shouldn't be paid out. So it's not an exhaustive list. It's not everything that's in the recon. But they wanted to run for their readers what is in the recon. For us, it's helpful because we get some sense of some other sums of money that are in there for us that we didn't know about. I certainly never knew about these. Free school meals for all, tax breaks, cheaper prescription medication, then immigration check money, then greener farming checks, then money for election checks, then closing the digital divide checks. They actually proposed to give fortunes to local cities so you can have free internet. Local cities would run their own internet operation. More checks across the board, like checks for organized labor and checks for collective bargaining, and checks for Medicare expansion, and checks for dental, and checks for vision, and checks for hearing aid. And of course, you heard on this video where there's checks for housing. There's a lot of checks in there. Next, when are they calling the vote on the recon? The best indicator is when they're calling the vote on the bipartisan. Remember, they have to call the vote on the recon before concurrently with the bipartisan because the Senate Democrats said, you can't call the bipartisan a vote like 12 months later. We got to have it close in time. Well, let's turn to the bipartisan, because here comes the great exciting news about the bipartisan. When you're looking at the bipartisan, the only thing you're worried about with the bipartisan is when the finish line happens for the bipartisan. Remember, the bipartisan is roads and bridges. There's nothing in the bipartisan for you. So our only focus on the bipartisan is when are you done with it? And suddenly we have that confirmation. On Wednesday, the bipartisan group, led by a lot of Republicans, said, we hope to have the deal provisions of the bipartisan done by Thursday in principle. This is huge, because that would basically say these are the roads and the bridges that are going in the roads and bridges, and all they would do is write it up in bill format. Wow. That's huge. Next, they said whether we get it done by Thursday, we get it done by Friday, we hope to have the vote next week. Yeah, this next week. And what is middle of the road publication saying? Well, it may be a stretch to get it done this next week, if not the week after. So what does that mean for us on recon? That means that your vote on the recon comes first. So your vote on the recon will be next week or the week after. Wow, that got really fast. And why is it just moving so quickly? Well, there was a beautiful article in a conservative publication that says Mitch has been told to back off. He was saying no less than a week ago that he was going to sort of block anything that come out of the White House, whether it was bipartisan or not. And the Republicans reportedly love this infrastructure. They love it. They love everything about it, how it's paid for, how it's structured. That it's very sort of bland, and it's just roads and bridges, and it's just nothing. There's no attitude in it. So they love it. Mitt Romney adores it, and Lisa Murkowski, also a Republican, loves it. Kristen Sinema loves it, and they basically say we're trying to get it done. We hope to have all the issues resolved by Thursday. And there might be a few issues after that, said Mitt Romney. There are big quotes from Sinema and Lisa Murkowski, all praising it. When you look at the quotes from the Recon group, Bernie and Chuck saying it's historic, it's a massive amount of spending. It's important for you to understand going into the new day the following, that there's a voting process required, and this voting process requires 4 steps 3 times. We have a recon procedure, recon substantive, and bipartisan. Those 4 steps repeated 3 times the following: Senate subcommittee, Senate floor, House, President. And they don't need 12 days to vote 12 steps, but they got to get it done. And so suddenly we now see how things have moved so quickly. Now, here's what you need to do, is that you need to push to the finish line. In fall of 2020, we weren't seeing second summits happen, and they had to do a budget bill to run the federal government. That had a deadline, continuing resolutions called. And I said, hey, they got a deadline. Let's use that deadline for our benefit. I came up with the idea. I solely came up with the idea to put stimulus in the CR of December 2020. People thought I was crazy. Stimulus doesn't belong in a CR. Who's putting stimulus in a CR? Well, I came up with the idea, and you pushed, and they got it done. Initially, wrong way. They initially came back and said, hey, yeah, we'll put some unemployment in the CR. We're like, wait a second, that's fine, but we didn't ask for that. We're asking for stimulus checks. And then we pushed back more, and we got it done, put in there. Now, if you're with me in that time, there was a 4 to 5 day window where things were moving very fast. We literally were blinking, and we heard things like Pat Toomey had a meeting, and then suddenly he's trying to derail everything, and then 2 hours later they said, oh, they solved it, it's fine. And then they were talking about, let's reduce the stimulus check to people under 3,500, or make the check big or make it small, and it was just going all over the place. There was a time where the check was supposed to go very big, and they tried to make it small again, and certainly it did end up at $600. But that is a very big, what I call crunch time. We're at that crunch time now. There's a reason why Democrats don't want to show you the recon, which is they're not finished with it. And when they're not finished with it, there's your opportunity. There is a big price tag of $3.5 trillion. It's a fortune. And those Democrats have pet projects. They want to use as much money as they can to put it to their pet project. Well, guess what? We have a pet project. It's us. We need the money. And so you need to push. This is the real opportunity for you to push. It's not the opportunity. It's not the place. It's not the time ever to say at this point. What do you think? Do you think we're going to get it? Do you think I'm on the front porch? Let me rock on my chair. Hey, do you think we're going to get it? Sally doesn't think we're going to get it. John thinks we're going to get it. No, that's not going to get anything, anyone. Just sitting back and guessing. That's number one. Number two, what day is it landing in my bank account? That's also not going to get you anything. When we did the CR for stimulus, we pushed really hard. We said, seats for stimulus. You don't give us stimulus, we're going to kick you out. We were very aggressive about it. And so you need to push. Apathy is not the time or place right now. WR 2 weeks ago on noontime revealed that he called up Senator Coons, Democrat, Delaware, and spoke to professionally, just like I said, and said, this is why I need stimulus checks. This is why we need them. This is why we want them. And this is my issue. This is my family. This is my business. This is what happened. Response was, Senator Coons is working on those monthly stimulus checks, sir. Well, not time for you to hold up a donut. It's time for you to push and do what WR did. Because ultimately, these people can put things in, they can take them out, they can change the number, make them single, make them double, make them triple, make them single. They're legislators. They change by the hour. And until it's over the finish line, things can change. And as we get really close, the time frame is getting very narrow. So you should be excited that the time frame is getting very close now, but you should also understand that this is your crunch time to really push. This is not your time to put the feet up on the chair. Call up your Democratic senators. Call them up. If you don't have Democratic senators, call up someone else's Democratic senators. Express professionally to them why you need this money. And if I didn't cover your item in this video, express why your item should be in there, whether it's extension of PUE, PEUC, or PUA, or FPUC, or eviction moratorium, or mortgage forbearance, or student loan debt forgiveness, whatever you think needs to be put in there. Make the statement very loud and clear because they want to hear from you. Ultimately, these sums of money don't cost a lot of money, and there is a lot of money allocated. So ultimately, make the big push because they want to hear from you. They want to represent your interests. And with that, stay with me as well. I'll be back with you at 9 o'clock at noon on Mornings Lalate live on air. At the same time, this recording, this is airing overnight's crypto. So stay on this video, automatically take you there when this video is over. And with that, subscribe. A 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video. Every like helps. It helps in the algorithm rankings and also delivers a side of garlic powder. Sorry, vampires. Consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the channel. Then comment. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful morning and stay with Lalate for more.